Hi, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us for Immigration Talk episode 18. I'm here with my wonderful associate, Anna Sergeeva. How are you, Anya?
I'm okay. I'm so cold here in Virginia. It's like freezing, like 40 degrees today in the morning, so it's really cold. I don't know what's going on. It's like spring and it's not really spring, so
I'm sorry to hear that. Here in Los Angeles, flowers are blooming. Fruit trees I have are already like the fruit's starting to grow. So we'll see. It's an opposite side of the almost all opposite end of the world. It seems from one side of America to another. But speaking of opposites, there's like a big change happening in USCIS. Allegedly, they're going to be speeding up things. So a lot of people know there's been really slow processing times with USCIS. They've been speeding some stuff faster, but they did major announcements that are coming out. So we're going to go into detail on all this stuff. So stick around. If you haven't already, like and subscribe so you get updates. We're on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, we're on everywhere, LinkedIn. We can find this content and get this kind of weekly updates and what's going on in immigration news. Now, another update you brought to my attention was regarding to the USCIS cave where they keep files. That's opening up and the effect on citizenship cases. So I was really excited to hear we have cases that are just going nowhere that are associated with this. So please clarify what is all about. What's this cave about?
so we did this video previously, like a month or 2 months ago, that a lot of immigration A files, which is like a complete immigration file for everyone who had any dealing with USCIS. Um, they were stuck in this cave that belongs to Federal Records Center somewhere in Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
And because of COVID pandemic, they were understaffed and they were not able to actually get this A files and send them to local offices. Because again, for example, when someone files for naturalization, local USCIS office has to request this whole immigration file, make sure everything's okay in the person's immigration history, everything looks good, they got their green card lawfully, and other things. So if local USCIS office does not have this A file, they cannot adjudicate the N400 application. So, and a lot of people who filed for naturalization somewhere between like March 2020 and like June or July 2020, specifically these applications are affected the most for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So they are still pending. And some our clients, they file for naturalization like six months ago, and they already were sworn in and they already have their naturalization certificate.
Yeah.
So yeah, and people who filed earlier, like a year and a half or a year earlier, they're still waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now they're saying that they started to open up these federal record centers. They started to open up. They increased their staffing to 100% at this moment. So if your naturalization case has been pending for too long, you might give it some time. Wait, maybe not sue them yet, because this is always an option too.
Yeah.
Uh, and to see maybe they will be able to get your file out of this storage, and your case will be adjudicated.
It's such a
Again,
weird.
we don't know the time frame when it's going to happen, but we expect some movement in regards to this
Yeah.
in regards to these applications. Yeah.
Well, that's good news because we have clients who are so frustrated. Like, what's going on? I have my interview, and I'm like, they told us we don't have a file in their interview, so it's like they don't tell us exactly what the file is caught up in this cave. But not having the file together when you go to an interview is like, okay, there's something going on. There's some sort of mishap happening here. Now, the big news that's happening is USCIS announcement that they're updating their processing time and how their expectations are going to be. So, just give you a background of just how lagged the whole immigration system is. As of February, USCIS is reviewing more than 9.5 million pending applications, a 66% increase from 2019 fiscal year, according to agency data. And if you're in the immigration court system, that's called the Executive Office of Immigration Review, essentially immigration court. It's under the Justice Department. Oh my God, this number's crazy. 1.7 million unresolved court cases of immigrants facing deportation. So that number is astronomical. They are hiring a lot more people. Recently hired like 25 new judges. It was interesting because there's usually when the immigration court hires people, it's usually government prosecutors or the ICE attorney, as they call them, or people that work in the government. But more and more private practice immigration lawyers are going in, which can be a plus or minus. It gives a more well-rounded perspective of fairness, I think. But at the same time, immigration lawyers know all the ins and outs. So they're judged, they can spot that things and they really hit people real hard. So it's a double-edged sword. But the State Department, which we got to get a lot of contacts from, people who are going through the embassy system, National Visa Center, to get their green cards through consular processing. they have a backlog of still it's been a year now of 400,000 immigrant visa applications waiting for the interview at U.S. consulates. We get emails every day from Indians, from Pakistan, who are just waiting over a year to have their interview. I think those are the hardest hits. If you're from Russia, your situation is really bad, especially with what's going on right now. But it's just all over the place. It's huge delays. So Congress did pass a massive spending bill that gave additional $400 million to address these delays. And the President Biden asked them for another like $765 million for fiscal year 2023 to try to reduce this backlog for USCIS. So Anya, what are some of the stuff that are happening to reduce it now that they're announcements? And one of the first ones, not a new announcement, something they just told us, but we have been seeing for the last 3 or 4 months, which is really was good news for a lot of our clients, but about EADs.
Right. So we've been seeing this pattern, as you say, right, for last like 3 or 4 months, that when we file, for example, when we file the adjustment of status application for our clients and we submit along with the I-485 form for adjustment of status, we submit request for advance parole and application for employment authorization, basically for work permit. And generally, this work permit comes together. It's like advance parole and the work authorization document. So what they started to do right now, they started to like separate them. Okay, so now they adjudicate the work authorization really, really fast. And we've seen that this happen as fast as like 2 months. And it's never been like that before. So, and advance parole still keeps pending.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So again, this for those who apply, for example, by themselves without an attorney, and if you look at the form I-139, right, it's like really very short form, and I don't know how much time it would take them to adjudicate it, and just process all these things together, but unfortunately it's not happening. But still, I think it's better to have EAD rather than not having EAD and advance parole. So, and please be mindful when you get the work authorization document, please check on the bottom what's written there, because it would say not valid for re-entry to the United States. It means that it's just the work authorization document and you cannot travel overseas with this document. And it's very, very important, because if you do travel, USCIS may consider that you abandoned your adjustment of status application and you will have to start anew, like from scratch, basically, and go through the embassy system.
Yeah,
And
if you're lucky,
it can take like 1 year easy.
If it doesn't trigger some sort of ban or all sorts of other stuff. Now, those are important facts to really be mindful for. The EAD employment authorization document too, like, is needed for getting Social Security number in many cases too. So it's going to be a game changer for people wanting to start their lives here. Now, the administration, part of the new announcement, has said that their adjudication for renewing employment authorization documents are taking a while. The type of case we were talking about right now, Anya was talking about, is for C9 category. If you have a green card case pending, but there's you could use the form for a work permit for all sorts of different types of cases. Those are seeing massive delays, and so what they're doing is they're increasing automatic extensions and extending the automatic extensions and stuff. Those are plans of the work they've announced they're going to be doing, because everything is so behind right now on getting most of these different types of work authorizations. And we're lucky there was a big lawsuit that happened for people who are L2s, dependents of L1 intercompany transfers, and for E2 dependents, these are investor visas, for them to be able to get work authorization instant to status. We're not going into that here, but these options are there. They've done some stuff for H4 people who have work permits too. So there's a lot of push and pull in different kinds of ways to get this going. But the big news really is the expansion of premium processing. Just to give you some background, premium processing from I-907 was an extra fee you could pay to USCIS for them to adjudicate the case faster. Historically, it was like 14 regular days or 15 regular days. And it was good, but it didn't apply to everything. It was just for certain types of business cases. About 2 years ago, they passed a law that says we're going to expand this and cover almost everything, all the major stuff, employment-based primarily, but also work permits and change of status. However, nothing happened. And so we're waiting and waiting. Nothing's happened. They didn't increase the fee accordingly. The fee that was going to increase to provide extra service. They've been getting the money, but they haven't been providing the service, unfortunately. So Biden administration finally is pushing this forward. We're going to get exact measures of how this is going to work out, but some of the details are here. So Anya, what kind of stuff is being added to the mix with this new premium processing? And
Yeah.
this announcement of just even outside of premium processing, frankly, I've made a mistake. Is like the bigger goal of making things faster.
Yes. So the main thing is that USA is expanding like premium processing option to other different kinds of applications that were not covered by the previously. So
Yeah.
it used to be that only work visas, for example, forms I-129, right, and some categories under I-140, which is like work green card, right? They were able to ask for like premium process and pay like extra, what, $2,500 extra and get their case adjudicated like within, I think it's 15 days, right? Yeah. So now what the USCIS wants to do, they expanded it to form I-765, which is work authorization. And it's beautiful because, I mean, on the one hand, it's good. On the other hand, it's not very good. And I'll explain why. So, uh, so you will be able to apply for work authorization and get this work authorization really, really fast. Again, within like 15 calendar days, maybe 30. Once we see how they're gonna implement it, because it's has not been implemented yet. So at this time, we cannot still file these forms, this new like I-765s and other forms that were just like premium processing and was extended to. We cannot file them at this moment because they say we're gonna do it. But again, if you go to USCIS website, there is no option, even in premium processing form, which is I-907,
Yeah.
right? There's not this option there yet. So we're still waiting on that. And the bad part of it is that, I mean, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, unfortunately, will not be able to afford it. And my question is, would it make timelines longer for other people who don't use this premium processing option? Because it should not, you know. And again, we will see it how it's going to work in practice. I think USCIS noted that it should not affect, but again, we need to see how it's gonna work out. Yeah, right. So the first thing is 765 work authorization will be qualifies for premium processing. Then they say also EB1 for under multinational executive manager, which is EB1C category. They will be able to ask for premium processing, and also EB2 national interest waivers.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a big deal. And a couple things that generally you can always file under general rules, right, without the premium processing. But then if you decide to, you can always submit this extra request and ask for premium processing later in the process. So, and it's going to be available for all this types of applications. So for example, again, we're going to wait how much time it's going to take them, because they say by the end of the fiscal year 2022. So fiscal year ends September 30th of 2022. So it's here. It's almost here. But again,
hopefully they stick to it. That's the thing. Now they did provide an interesting chart I'll share on the screen right now for USCIS. And these are what their new cycle times is, what they're doing. Because so typically a lot of us who are watching too, you go to USCIS.gov, you check the estimated processing times, and they're very all over the place. They're going to try to stick to this cycle. Hopefully they will for adjudication. So most forms will be 6 months, but a lot of these, like the I-130, are taking anywhere from 3 to 4 months to 10 to 11 months. I even have one for a immediate relative that's taken 15 months so far. It's pretty ridiculous. But note that for the I-130, which is the family-based petition, it specifies immediate relative. So that's different from if you're a green card holder filing for a spouse or adult child or brother or sister, kind of a U.S. citizen. They do differentiate this timeline for that. But hey, 6 months, I'm happy with that. In the 3-month category, they included I-765. Now, if you note, they distinguish between premium and non-premium processing cases in the expected timelines. They didn't put premium after I-765 or include it in the premium category. So that doesn't make sense. They said the I-539 change of status, extension of status, is going to have premium processing. They haven't listed it here, so that doesn't make as much sense. So it's like they need to update this chart. It's not the best breakdown what it is, but if we're getting these kind of timelines compared to what we've seen in the last 5 or 6 years, this is a godsend to get people up and running, get their lives in order. So generally, you view that as good news and just pray for the best.
Yeah, and thank you for reminding me, because one more form that would qualify for premium processing is I-539, change or extension of non-immigrant status. For example, if you're here in the United States under the tourist visa and you decided to go to school, right? Like now we see timelines can easily reach like 1 year for
Yeah.
these applications to get adjudicated. And now, again, you will have this opportunity to pay more extra money, right, and get the decision faster.
Hmm. That's a
Again,
big
as I
deal.
said, good and bad at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, because like with the student visa example, we have cases like this where someone's here on some other kind of work visa as a family member or a tourist visa. They get enrolled in a top school, for example, and they might want to start at the beginning of the semester, but the student visa doesn't get approved, and they have to wait for like the next semester or the next year to start. And all of a sudden, their whole academic and whole life gets postponed for a whole year just because this quick adjudication can't happen. So although it is a lot of fee, if this is what you got to pay for getting people's lives up running, it's what we got to do, because it's so disruptive. These change of status cases are taking too long. The work permit cases where people have a job, the work permit expires, and they can't get it renewed, so all of a sudden they lose their job. Not only do they lose their job, lose funding for their families, but the employer needs this person, and they're left empty-handed, and they can't find someone else, and that's disruptive for their business. So the bureaucratic slowdown has been disastrous on all ends. So hopefully, they're going to really try to fix it, and hopefully, whoever the next administration is continues this push and doesn't go in opposite direction.
Yeah. As a side note, I was reading this article on UK immigration.
Hmm.
Again, we're immigration lawyers here in the United States, so we don't know anything about UK immigration. I was just reading this article, and they were saying that like something like immediate relative petition, what you would call it here in the United States, it takes like 4 months in the UK, and without even premium processing. You
Yeah,
know, so that's how I think that's how it's supposed to be.
yeah.
Generally,
Honestly,
without premium.
in my dreams, like if immediate relatives or spouses of U.S. citizens, parents, and minor children, I think like they should just be like a 2-day thing. If you're a spouse of a citizen or especially a child, which is easier to prove, you don't want families to be separated. This should be a really quick thing, almost like a tourist visa for them to come here. And we have the K3, that should be expedited. The K3, which is for them to come here and finish processing in the United States. That should be like a 1 or 2 week thing. They give priority for people to bring their spouses here. It's really disruptive to people's family lives, and it doesn't make any sense to me. But getting these wheels of bureaucracy move faster is a slow thing. And when you said 4 months, I thought you were gonna say, I haven't read that article. I thought you were gonna say like 2 weeks or a month. I was so excited. But thinking about it, like if I was separated from my spouse or kids for 4 months, that's super disruptive. But we see with our clients, we have people stuck 2 years right now that haven't seen their loved ones. So it is good relative to that for sure. But just in life, and people, I'm getting older. I see my kids getting older. 4 months, 1 year, this is a lot of time. A lot could happen. Look at the situation in Ukraine. We have families there pending I-130s, and all of a sudden war happens. They're stuck there. And so that's horrible. You've been able to get expedites for some of these I-130s, but it should have been done already. They should have been here already to avoid this. So 1 year, 6 months, these every day counts and these kind of things. So I'm glad the administration is finally paying attention to this, and it can be a focus, because these are real people that are going through this.
Yeah, I mean, again, we see very positive changes recently. So I hope it's gonna continue like that, and the processing times will be
Yeah.
getting shorter and shorter. Uh, yeah.
Very good. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and learn more about our show, get updates, ring that bell, and email us if you have questions. info@jqqlaw.com is where you could contact us when we schedule a private consultation with myself, Anya, or our new associate, always, Kazi. We do all sorts of kind of cases, business, family-based. So just send us an email and let us know what kind of stuff you're going through. We'll figure it out from there. Having said that, God bless everyone. Be safe, and thank you, Anya, for coming on again.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and see you next week.
Bye-bye. Thank you for watching this educational program. To get the latest videos, click the subscribe button and the notification bell icon. Also, help us help the immigrant community by liking this video and sharing it with your family and friends. You can also find us on other social media sites like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Twitter, where you find the latest updates on immigration news, policy changes, and tips. Be safe and God bless. See you soon.